want $1 million business. How do I get there? I'm glad I didn't quit, because not quitting is what got me to this level. Make money moves like that and make those types of investments. Good, the bad, and the ugly of crossing 7 figures in your business. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I do it because I'm passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6 or even 7-figure online coaching brand. And speaking of online coaching brands, in this video, I want to talk to you specifically about how I've grown my brand to 7 figures and the good, the bad, and the ugly behind that, right? I know many people are just getting started in their coaching business. They're like, Courtney, if I could just get a paid client, I would be really excited. And I know some of you are more established, you're consistently getting paid clients, but you feel like you're hitting a brick wall from a revenue standpoint. You're like, we're skirting with 6 figures, but if I could just cross 6 figures, that would be fantastic. And some of you are doing a great job where you're crossing 6 figures, you fully replaced your income at your previous corporate job, but you're like, I want $1 million business, how do I get there? And so I've been in all of those positions. I remember even just last year wondering when I was finally gonna cross the 7-figure mark, and we did it this year. We did it really early this year. And so now that we've been operating at this level for a while now, in fact, I even have a video that you can check out here that breaks down my revenue streams of how we clear over 100K. In that video, we talked about how we cleared over 200K per month. So you can definitely check that out. But I thought it would be fun to do a video sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly of crossing 7 figures in your business. So if this is a milestone that you cannot wait to hit, stay tuned, because I'm gonna give you the real on what it's like. All right, as I was outlining this video, I was like, oh man, like what to talk about? What's the good of crossing 7 figures? Obviously, there's a lot of obvious things. It's great to be able to make more income. It's great to have more money to, get some really cool toys. I actually have a video that you can check out here all about how I got my Tesla, and actually didn't pay cash for that Tesla. I was able to invest in a rental property, and my rental property pays for that Tesla. But still, getting to that level in your business where you can make money moves like that and make those types of investments is really great. Traveling, I've been to 3 countries just this summer alone. So there's a lot of really amazing things that I think are kind of obvious when you make more money. There's lots of new things that you can get into. But if I had to summarize, like, what's the best thing or the true good of hitting 7 figures in my business, honestly, it would be that I feel like I finally have the money to execute at the level that I want to operate in. So take, for instance, even something like these videos, right? Now, I am a big proponent of starting where you are and do what you can. So even on this here YouTube channel, way back in like 2007, 2008, 2009, I was recording these videos myself on my little, home camera. And then when I decided to revamp my YouTube channel in 2020, during the pandemic, I bought myself a better camera, but I was still shooting those videos myself. And they looked a lot better, but I'm not an expert with the lighting. I'm not an expert with my makeup. Like, I look at those videos now and I'm like, oh, the content was good, but there are ways that, I wish that I could have made it better. And so to be doing these videos with you here now, to have a videographer that I work with, to have a makeup artist who's able to do my makeup, and just to really operate at a high level, I would say that's one of the best things about crossing the 7-figure mark, is that I feel like I can truly execute my vision now to the level that I want to see it. And the biggest thing that has been evident with this that we see is in my program. So I recently launched a new program called the Next Big Name Boot Camp. That program, the first launch of it was over $500,000. So that program has been really instrumental in creating a lot of my business revenue, but I'm super proud of it because I'm finally at a place where even in my programs, we're operating at a super high level. So the video in that program is shot, professionally, very high quality, edited. I was able to hire an instructional design team that was able to get in my head and really help me outline the program so that my clients could get the best results from it. And I'm just so proud of it because I'm like, yes, I'm finally pushing out content and executing content at the level that I want to operate at. And I'm a big stickler. I love doing things to my best, like to the best of my abilities. I love operating in excellence, even if it's something as simple as the way my social media posts look and, the graphics, or making sure that we're getting back to emails that we receive consistently. I mean, I remember a time where I was so overwhelmed with my emails, it was taking me like a week to get back to people, to have people on my team now and to have processes in place to manage all that. I just just love that we're operating at a high level, which I feel like is really all I've ever wanted to do. And so for me, that's been the best part of crossing 7 figures. And in fact, it reminds me of this quote from Ira Glass. So Ira Glass is I think he's the creator and producer for the NPR show, This American Life. And I came across this quote from him a while ago. I want to say like 10 years ago. And it's always stuck with me, but I feel like it really characterizes kind of how I felt before I crossed 7 figures and how I feel now that we're able to operate at this level. He says, "Nobody tells this to people who are beginners, and I wish someone would have told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is this gap. For the first couple of years, you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good, it has potential, but it's not. But your taste, the thing that got you in this game, is still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase and they quit." And so I'm so glad I didn't quit. Even when I was looking at the videos I was producing, I was looking at what I was coming up with, and it was, it was good, but I knew the vision of where it wanted to be. I'm glad I didn't quit, because not quitting is what got me to this level, where we are generating 7 figures and I can start to fully execute my vision at the taste level that I've always had. So I would say that's the best thing truly about crossing 7 figures. All right, another great thing about crossing 7 figures that I mentioned before is that I can finally afford a team. And I'm just so glad that all this is happening at this time, because I also had my daughter during the pandemic. And so as my business was growing, it was really a lot of freedom and a lot of relief for me to be able to hire people to support me in my business. And I always say, look, my first hire in my business was actually hired in my home. So I know technically I feel like I have to say this for my accountant. No, I'm not writing off my housekeeper on my books, but mentally, I felt like my housekeeper was my first business expense. So that was my first business hire, because she freed up a lot of time for me to work on my business on the weekends, because I wasn't spending my Saturdays cleaning the entire house. And then working with my nanny. My nanny's fantastic because she doubles as my makeup artist. She's really fantastic. But her being here during the day with my daughter while my son is at school and allowing me to do things like this, like record videos for you, having a meal prep chef who comes once a week who prepares healthy meals for my family so I can focus on my children and my business and my clients and all of those things. Having a videographer who can come and help me so I'm not fumbling with the cameras and the lights and setting these things up myself. My executive assistant, I have a project manager, content writer. Like, I have so many people now who are supported by the revenue in my business that, again, allows me to operate at that level. So that has been such a huge relief. And it's crazy because I was always reluctant to hire people, because I had a bad experience in 2017 where I hired a bunch of people and my business was growing, and then I got pregnant with my son. And because I couldn't do all of the one-on-one coaching that at the time my business was really built around, I ended up having to let people go. And so I was very scared to get into hiring people again, because I never wanted to be in a position where I couldn't afford to pay someone. But I will say, since hiring people, it's amazing. Every time I hire someone, I end up making more money because it just frees me to do more. So trust me, building a team, that has been the best part of generating 7 figures. And the last good part of creating 7 figures is that it's really allowed me to attract even more clients. So it's no surprise when people see your success, they see you're winning, they want to sign with you, right? I always say that in terms of coaching, people want to go with people who are winning. And so just hitting this milestone, I know it's a big milestone that a lot of my own clients aspire to. And so if they were on the fence or they weren't sure that they wanted to work with me, crossing the 7-figure milestone has really had a lot of people raise their hand and they're saying, okay, whatever it is that you're doing, Courtney, I want to be a part of that. But not only has it enabled me to attract new clients, I've noticed that a lot of my old clients are re-signing with me. And so I'm a big proponent of always focusing on your own journey and investing in yourself, in part because your current clients are watching to see if you are growing. And my clients know I'm always investing in myself, I'm always learning new things, I'm always growing. And so I love that my existing clients are re-signing with me because they're like, oh, she's hit a new milestone, she's on to the next thing, we want to learn the new thing that she's learning, because they know that when I invest in myself, really I'm investing in them because they get access to the knowledge that I'm learning as well. So those have been the best things of crossing 7 figures. All right, now let's get into the bad of creating 7 figures, because, it's mostly cotton candy and pie in the sky, but I mean, there's always some not so great things that come along with it. And I'll say one of the quote unquote bad things for me, because I put a lot of pressure on myself, is just the pressure that comes with that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can afford a team and I'm having people support me and this is really fantastic. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a team, I have payroll, right? I have to look at this money and hit the button and make sure that everybody's going to get their direct deposit in 2 weeks. Like I have real staff that I pay like actual biweekly payroll on, and I'm like paying taxes for people and all of this. And so there is a sense of pressure that I have on myself now that I didn't have before, where I'm like, wow, I really need to maintain this and I need to keep this going, because it's not just me that I'm supporting, but it's like actual people's livelihoods that I am supporting. So it's not that I don't like to do it, but I don't want to say it stresses me out, because it doesn't, but there is a low grade pressure of like, Courtney, make sure you show up, make sure you do these things. So even, I have days where I'm like, I'm tired, I'm feeling lazy, I don't want to do things, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I find that having this staff that I'm supporting really holds me accountable, where I show up no matter what, because I'm like, no, we need to keep the wheels turning and keep the lights on in the business, because now people's paychecks depend on you. But beyond even the team, just the pressure again to continue operating at a high level. I know I have a lot of industry peers that look up to me. Again, my clients are like, wow, you give me hope and inspiration. And so while I'm like, wow, I'm really happy that I hit this level, I'm also like, ooh, girl, you better stay at this level, because people are counting on you, even if not for, financially, because they're your employees, they're counting on you from like an emotional or an inspirational standpoint. So there is a new level of pressure that I have that I feel like I didn't have before. And another bad thing I'll say that comes with hitting 7 figures is that I'm finding people do start to separate from you. And it's not because of the money you have, but it's because of the mindset that you have that allowed to get you the money. So I am very focused, right? Like not just from a financial standpoint, but I'm focused on my goals, I'm focused on my business. And I found that I have a lot less patience and a lot less tolerance for foolishness, essentially, right? Negativity, people who complain a lot, people who just want to gossip and talk about nothing, and people who want to do crazy things or go out and get drunk or whatever. I was never one to go out and get drunk anyway, but you know what I mean? Like they just want to spend their time doing things that don't advance their goals and don't move the ball forward. When you get to this level, it's almost like being an Olympic athlete, where you start to notice if any slight thing is off, it really has a downstream effect where it affects your whole performance. So, before it was just like, oh, if I'm off and I have a bad day or I have a bad week, it's not a big deal. But like I said, now I have people depending on me. I have a larger group of clients that I'm supporting. I have, payroll and staff. Like there's a lot going on. It's so important for me to continue showing up and operating at a high level, for me to keep my mind clear, for me to keep my environment peaceful. And so because I demand a certain standard now, in terms of how I operate in my life and the people that I like to surround myself with, because I'm stricter about that standard, because I have to be in order to maintain business at this level, I do find that people will naturally kind of separate from you, in that they don't want to be held to that standard. They don't want to operate at this super high level. That's something that you've chosen for your business, right? But they don't want to operate at their level. They're cool doing what they do. And so you'll just find that they'll call you less, or they just don't want to be in your space anymore. And so, that's something that I've had to accept. But like I said, I am so locked in on this. I feel like this is beyond just my professional work. This is really my purpose work. This ties into all the people that are attached to me, whether it's my employees, my clients, even my children, my husband, the generational wealth that I'm building for them. I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with people separating themselves from me, but I will say it is a bad, and that I wish it didn't have to happen like that. Like I wish that when one person levels up, that it always inspired the people around them to want to level up too, but that's not always the case. And that's, something that I've just come to accept, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop moving towards my goals. So it is what it is. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I wanna hear from you. What do you worry about when it comes to hitting 6 or 7 figures? Share in the comments below. Okay, now let's talk about the ugly that comes with hitting 7 figures. Like I said, most of it has been cotton candy, pie in the sky, but there's always not so amazing things that you have to consider. And if I had to really say the ugly, right? Like we already talked about the bad, but the ugly, I think the one ugly thing that really comes with hitting 7 figures is that you become a target, right? And I mean, really, I had to wrestle with even sharing this, like sharing that my business is crossing 7 figures, but I felt like it would have been hypocritical for me, because from the very beginning, beginning. I mean, like when I was still working my 9-to-5 job and I was just blogging and talking about my business, if I made $4,000 that month or $5,000 that month, I was documenting that and sharing that with people because I wanted people to see what was possible and also to hold myself accountable so that people could see my journey. I mean, that's literally how I got my start. The reason I started my blog was because I was very serious about achieving certain goals after messing up in college. And so all my friends graduated ahead of me because I originally went to school for chemical engineering. I lost my scholarship when I tried to pursue business, and the business failed and my grades failed as well. And so I ended up spending an extra 2 years at school while I was trying to get it together. So it took me 6 years to graduate undergrad, and my friends all graduated and went to their new jobs and were living their life. And so I started blogging in the hopes that some reader somewhere on the internet would see me documenting my goals and would keep checking back and hold me accountable. That's literally how all of this got started. So I feel like that's really true to my DNA and to my brand roots, this idea of like radical transparency and bringing my audience along for the ride. And crossing the 7-figure mark is such a big milestone in business. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I know, a very small percentage of women entrepreneurs ever cross the 7-figure mark, and an even smaller percentage of Black women entrepreneurs ever cross the 7-figure mark. So I knew that it was something that I had to share. It would almost be incongruent with me not sharing it. But the only downside of that is when you do share it, because there's low-level people out there who want to take what you have or who are jealous or whatever, it does make you a target. And so there's a lot of time, money, and effort that I've had to put in place just to make sure that myself and my family are protected, whether that's just legal protection, setting things up in my business, asset protection, trust, those different things, brand protection, and even just protection from the standpoint of donating money, right? Like, more and more groups and nonprofits and ministries, they want to hit you up and they're like, oh, can you support this, right? But not every organization is well run. Not every organization is doing the right things with the money. So I will say the ugly is that, to me, it's ugly that we have to spend so much time, so much effort, and so much money, again, protecting ourselves legally, protecting our assets, investigating, these groups and these nonprofits that want donations. Like, it's sad that we live in a society of people who are sharks and are like out for self, that we even have to take these precautions when we really just want to do good in the world. So I will say that that's one like frustrating thing. And another ugly that comes with this is making sure your kids stay down to earth. So my husband and I would say out of everything, this is like the one thing that keeps us up at night. We have several conversations all the time about what are we gonna do to make sure that our kids stay grounded and that the level of privilege that is going to be normal to them, because they are very young and for the most part, this is the only lifestyle that they've known. How do we make it so that they have an appreciation for everything that they've been given? Because if there's one thing I'm not gonna do, I am not gonna raise spoiled kids. But I am finding, not that it's hard because my kids are young, right? They're like 4 and 18, 19 months. So they're so young, it's very difficult for them to even exhibit spoiled behavior. But what I have noticed is a lack of awareness for how other people live or how other people experience things. And I know a big one that kind of rocked my husband and I to our core is one day we were at church and we were coming out and there was this woman, she wasn't by herself. She had, I think 2 small children, and she had who I thought was her mom, like an elderly woman with her. And she was trying to, load everybody in the car after church. And her bumper, like the back end of her car was all smashed up. It wasn't just like a fender bender or like, oh, you got into a little accident. It was bad, where I was like, wow, like concerned about the structural integrity of her car. I was shocked that she was even still driving it that way. And I remember that she had small kids because I noticed that she had a car seat even in the back of the car. And I was like kind of thinking to myself, like, oh man, I hope she's able to, get that fixed, because there's, she's got a baby with her, and if something else happens or she gets another accident, like it wasn't clear that the car was like even safe for everybody to be in. And so my husband and I, I'm carrying my daughter and my 4-year-old is walking with us, and we parked like a few spots down from her and we're walking, and my son, like loud, you know how young kids are, starts pointing to her car and her bumper, and he's like, "Mommy, that car is broken. What's wrong with that car? That car is broken." And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, shuffling him in, like be quiet, you know, trying to get him in the car. But we just felt really bad because we were like, wow, like, you know, we imagine perhaps she's a single mom, like she has either her mother or an elderly person with her. She's got these 2 young kids. Like, I was so embarrassed. We just scrambled in the car and we're like, okay, we need to go. But later, my husband and I, we were like, you know what? Next time we go to church, like, if we see her, we see that car, like, we're just gonna like donate some money, hopefully, where she can get, you know, her car fixed. But I felt bad because I was like, wow, my son has no concept of like a car would be broken, you know? Like if either of us get in a little fender bender or something like that, like we would immediately take the car to a shop, we would get a rental car, we drive nice cars, so the dealer would probably, or whoever, our insurance would probably give us a nice replacement car, you know, while we're waiting. Like there's just basic things that he doesn't understand, whether it's DoorDash, like, mommy, I'm hungry, and he just expects the food to just show up at the door. I am noticing a level of privilege that he has that I didn't even have growing up. And I'm like, wow, he doesn't appreciate like what he has and how good he has it. So it's not his fault and he's young, right? But I will say just that situation, that is something that could be potentially ugly about hitting this level of success in the business. And so that's just something that my husband and I have a lot of conversations around, whether it's in terms of like volunteering or just different groups that we're a part of, ministries, whatever. How do we keep our kids grounded and down to earth so that they understand that this is privilege that they have and that this isn't given to them, and that we need to be grateful. We need to be grateful to God for our circumstances, and that more importantly, we need to reach back and give to others who are in less fortunate circumstances. All right, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you are gonna love my Nail Your Niche challenge, because I would have never gotten to 7 figures had I not nailed my niche. Nailing your niche is so important in business, and once you just lock in on that and you can go full steam ahead with your products, programs, attracting your clients, it's gonna allow you to cross the 6 and even 7-figure mark. So if you want access to this training, it's actually a live 5-day free challenge. I can't promise that it's gonna be free forever, but at the time of this recording, it is free. You can click the link below to register. If you see spots available, make sure you sign up right away, because we do limit the spots, as I do have an option where you can upgrade to VIP and get direct coaching from me after the sessions each day. But I like to limit it to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get their questions answered. So if that's something that you want to be a part of and you see spots available, go ahead and register. And if you don't see spots available, but you do see a wait list, make sure that you sign up on the wait list to be notified the next time the Nail Your Niche Challenge is live. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure you are following me on my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. And if you want even more, you can't wait till my next podcast or my next video, make sure that you are following me on Instagram. That's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.